Hello, I'm Kamala Roberts for Zing TV's New York Links. We're here in New York City where the Jamaican American Chamber of Commerce held a press briefing with Prime Minister Bruce Golding. Take a look at what transpired.
It seems to me not so long ago that I was here. But one of the reasons why I was anxious to be here this year is because on the margins of the UN General Assembly is a high-level meeting of Commonwealth leaders. It's an initiative spearheaded by Prime Minister Gordon Brown, who I think more than anybody else that I've heard recently understands the need for reform of the multilateral system. I had discussions with him in Kampala when I spoke on behalf of the CARICOM countries about the need for a new approach, particularly as it affects countries like Jamaica. We are regarded not as a poor country, but as a middle-income country. And there is very little space in the multilateral arrangements for middle-income countries.
Prime Minister Bruce Golding touched on such topics as the bad economy in the United States and it not allowing for new ventures in Jamaica at this time.
When major economies are slowing down and some of them actually resisting the pressure of recession, that's not a time when people are going to be running all over the world investing in new ventures. Because of that, we have not been able to see the kind of investment response that we had hoped. It has direct impact on us in terms of the global environment, in terms of the responsiveness of capital to emerging market overtures. We are perhaps exposed in other ways because we are so liberalized that some of our security dealers, stocks and security dealers, would have part of their portfolio tied up in the U.S. financial markets. We are satisfied based on the information I have from our central bank that exposure is manageable. Our reserves position is strong. When I checked last week, our net international reserve now stood at $2.4 billion US.
The Prime Minister also spoke about not needing as much support from other countries and Jamaica being able to stand on its own 2 feet.
We have to make up our mind that 46 years after independence, we must be prepared to put some muscles in our legs and to stand up on our 4 feet and to say to the world, we're not looking for handouts. We're looking for economic cooperation that can expand investment and improve efficiency and improve our institutional capacity and the ability of our people to earn their living and through earning their living provide themselves with a good quality of life. And that's the leadership that I offer. And therefore I make no apology when I say I'm not prepared to sit down, whether with Europe, with the United States, with any other country, as if I'm some panhandler on the road and I'm looking for somebody to.
There was also discussion of police corruption and over 50 corrupt police officers being arrested.
Sometimes we know who the criminals are, we know the gangs that are operating. But if you have members of the police force who are part of that network, then it compromises any effort that you make to try to bring it under control. And this year, we don't say there's any pride, but it is necessary to do it. More than 50 policemen have been arrested since the start of this year. More than have been arrested in any 5 or 6 year period before in history. Simply because we have got tough and we have said that there is just no place for corruption within the police force. We just have to get it straightened out. And we have to do it in the interest of the majority of our policemen and women who are good, hard-working people, but whose efforts are being undermined by a minority. And finally, in terms of the challenges that we face, the problem of the influx of guns. We're having a hard time. Guns coming from a variety of sources, but in recent years, a significant source has been from Haiti. You know the challenges that Haiti has in terms of their government and the management. And I say that not as a criticism of the Haitian government. Really, I'm so supportive of them. You know, the other day, 2 weeks ago, despite the fact that we were so badly hit by Gustav, we sent a Coast Guard vessel full of relief supplies, bedding, food, and water to the people. What we're having with Haiti now is that particularly the southern part of Haiti is not under very tight administrative control. Let me use those words. There are Jamaicans who have gone to Haiti and who have set up a Jamaican community in that southern coast. And they are part of the network where guns are shipped and guns are exchanged for drugs. And again, part of our difficulty is that we don't have the capacity to effectively police our coastline. It's difficult for an island state to patrol your waters if you're completely surrounded by water. But in our case, we don't have any surveillance plane.
The Prime Minister expressed his pride in the Jamaican athletes during their performance in Beijing, China. On October 3rd, a big celebration will be held for 1 week to recognize and congratulate the athletes.
We sent 53 of our young men and women to Beijing. We sent them with our hopes and our expectations and with our love. And I said to them before the game began, I said, if you do your best, we will be satisfied. Well, they exceeded any expectation that we could have done.
Would I be able to get a question for Zing TV on CIN from you? Over the past summer, we were in Jamaica, and we understood that there was dire need for health care over there. So we wanted to know what immediate steps were being taken to deliver health care to the people.
Well, we have removed the hospital charges, so you no longer have to pay at our public hospitals to get treatment there. But we still have to build the capacity. We're recruiting additional personnel, particularly in those specialist areas, like dialysis treatment, for example, where we have a great demand. But in addition to that, we are seeking to rationalize the service delivery. Let me explain what I mean. We have too many cases that are coming to our hospitals that do not require hospital treatment. Those can be treated at clinics. But our clinics have been very run down, so we're seeking to rebuild the clinics to take as much of that load off the hospitals as possible, so that the expensive infrastructure that you have at your hospitals can be used to deal with real serious cases. Right now, for example, if somebody falls off a bicycle and gets some cuts and bruises after the hospital, we want those dealt with at the community clinics. But we'll have to make sure that they're properly staffed, properly equipped to deal with that. It's going to take some time, but we're moving. We have just purchased St. Joseph's Hospital, which is a private hospital. That has just been purchased by the government. We're going to make that a center of excellence in a number of specialist areas, which is the route we're going to be going. We're not likely to be building any more general hospitals, but what we're going to do is that we're going to build specialist centers. So we may have a hospital that caters to cancer. And therefore we build in that hospital all of the expertise to deal with cancer treatment. And all the patients from whatever part of Jamaica are sent to that center where we can give them that sort of treatment. We're also and we're getting help from the Cuban government in this. We're establishing an eye care center to deal with all of the eye procedures, the surgeries, and so on that are necessary. And Cuba is providing us with equipment and personnel to help us to do that. So that's where we're going. It's going to take time, but I think that we know what needs to be done. We just have to work assiduously to get it done.
Overall, Prime Minister Bruce Golding was here to meet with the Caribbean press to discuss what was going on in Jamaica and the necessary efforts to make it better at this time. He also mentioned that the sun does not stop shining in Jamaica despite everything that's going on, so there is hope. I'm Kamla for Zing TV, New York Links. bringing you closer to your leaders.